Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, we continue with our speedrun. So I'm gonna play a game of 10 minutes and we're gonna focus on solid moves, no cheap tricks, nothing fancy, just to demonstrate that we can do that and still win games. We can, in this variation, I'm gonna take the pawn. So he's gonna take back, and now I will develop my knight, contest it, and if he takes, I'm happy. And I'm playing one of my favorite variations, the Caro-Kann Tartakower. It wasn't prepared because this is live, but now I can develop my bishop here. The ideas are simple. Developing my bishop, then the other bishop here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get my bishop out. Then I'm preparing to castle. And I think he has misplayed this opening already, so I can even put my bishop here, pinning the knight. But I don't have to rush anything. Instead, I'm just gonna castle first. I can go here. I can also contest the bishop right away. But this is always a good idea. Now, there is some kind of sacrifice, but my queen... Let me see if I remember this line, because this is by memory. At some point, I can even sacrifice this bishop. He takes, but I don't think I am quite prepared because my queen is not out. It should be here or here. Yeah, I don't remember the line, to be honest. So I'm not going to play too risky. I'm just gonna go back. But yeah, there is one line where I can sacrifice this pawn. You can check my video about it. I'm gonna put a link into it. You can sacrifice this bishop to open up the king. Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah, see, this is a mistake because now he's weakening his king even further. So I think what I want to do is get my queen out. I'm gonna get my queen out, aiming at this pawn. So he's gonna push g4, and now he's weakening his pieces even more. This is also a mistake. Now we want to finish development. Rook to e8 is always a good idea. e8. Developing the knight is also good. So I think I want to remain flexible with this knight move. First, I'm gonna get my knight out. Okay, now I'm happy to trade bishops because now he has even less defense. Once he takes back, I can bring my queen into the attack. And yeah, he's already losing. Okay, I'm gonna put my queen here, try to win the pawn. Okay, he's offering a trade of queens. It wouldn't be convenient for me to trade because I can just take this pawn. My pieces are not hanging. Everything is good. Now I can get my knight out after this. Alright, he's offering me the trade of knights. So first, we can always trade. I can also take this knight, for example, trade, but this rook is still hanging. So what I want to do is finish my development before doing anything else. So if this trade happens, I can just take back with the other rook, and I still own the open file. So this is winning. Alright, that was a bit of a surprising move. He's retreating the knight, having less activity in this position. So let me see if we can have a direct way to punish this. I can always trade queens, for example. I am up a pawn, and I should be winning, especially on this side of the board. But let me look for something better. Maybe I can give a check, but the queen moves. Okay, I have an idea in mind. It might not be the fastest way. You always want to be concrete about your choices. But in this case, I'm going to reroute the knight, hitting the bishop, and then preparing to put it on this square. So I'm gonna go for this idea. If he goes back or if he takes, I still benefit because the most active piece he has in the position is this bishop. Apart from the queen, but the queen is tied down, right? It's tied down to the defense of this square. The knight is also defending this square. And I actually don't want to help him because also his rook is very, very inactive. See, here it's very convenient for him to go for this trade of queens. If I take, then he's improving his position, right? Actually, that's no, I was gonna mention I can take this pawn, but yeah, after this trade of queens, for a second I was thinking something else. This bishop is hanging, so like I was mentioning, this queen was tied down. It was defending this square. It was also defending the bishop, so everything was bad. Now I can give a check here. Let me think about it for a second. I can give a check. The king has to move, but this pawn is being protected by this pawn. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna come back. Probably there's something better in this position, but I'm also threatening to go here, give a check, and yet his knight is terrible. I think he has to kick out my bishop first. I go back. Okay. This trade will benefit us because we are up material. I can also give a check directly. So in this case, yeah, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna give a check, win the pawn. Actually, he has to move, and then I'm gonna take the knight. So this knight is hanging. Okay, now I think that was the worst move possible in the position. Maybe this was slightly better because after I take the knight, this comes with check, and he has to move the king again. So I don't see, we don't really have a mating net. I think we have to bring the knight in. So instead, I'm gonna grab the other pawn, then activate my king, and try to bring my 3 pieces into the game, into this endgame. Wait, I can give a check here. There might be some tactics. He has to move the king, right? And then I move my rook again to win his rook. So we can simplify in this position. This is forcing, so I can repeat moves now. I can also win the pawn. Okay, I'm gonna move the actually go here and win the pawn. His king is in check again, and now he's giving up the rook. Yeah, this is completely winning for black. So what is the technique for this? You want to cut off the king. That's the only piece that can do, I mean, like, have more activity, right? So I'm gonna try to put it on this rank. Cut off the king completely. Okay, and he resigned. I'm gonna do a game review really quickly. Alright, in this line of the Caro-Kann Tartakower, one of the best moves or best lines you can have against black is you get c3, and then d4, you have your queen out, your queen here, and your bishop here aiming at this pawn, right? Sometimes that looks scary, but it's still very playable for black, for both sides. But okay, he went for this line, and the problem is this pin, right? I'm pinning his knight, he cannot move it, so it's very annoying. Now, there is one line where you can sacrifice this bishop, but you have to have your queen here. So if I can take twice and open up the position. So that wasn't the condition here. Then the move that loses the game was this bishop move, right? Because I can trade, and now he has disrupted the defense around the king completely. And as you can see, this is it's minus 2.45. Then I win another pawn. The computer is saying this is fine, it's excellent, but to me this is very passive, right? His knight was doing okay in that position, and now he also offered this trade of queens. Perfect, I can win the bishop, and this is completely winning, right? The rest was history. This was mate in 4. Wait, this was mate in 4, which I missed. Let me show it here. Show checkmate. Oh, okay, yeah, I had to bring my knight. So I'm sorry about that, guys. I missed a mate in 4, but that usually happens. It was still completely winning. We continue here. Let's go for another game. And I just changed shirts. Actually, it's another day, but I'm gonna put it together with the last video. So in this one, we're gonna go for a similar plan with the Caro-Kann. We don't change the opening. I wanna do pretty much all the speed run. Probably I can also play something like the slab defense. We have a similar structure here. We want to develop the bishop, then put the pawn on e6. And as we continue this slow run, I actually want to put pressure on the opponents because I don't know, right? We might face stronger opponents as we make progress in this slow run. I might not have enough time to explain all the moves super slowly, but I will try to explain most of them, at least the crucial, and we can also do the game review. Okay, here he's trying to trap my bishop. Easy, I'm gonna play h5. If he goes here, I have no problem. And if he takes, I can take back, hitting the queen. Alright, he is developing the bishop. We can actually take, but that will give black a wide advantage of taking back immediately. Instead, I'm gonna go for this move, pushing c5 and then developing my knight. If he takes, I can just take back. Okay, so he's going for kind of a slow development. I'm gonna develop my knight, hit this pawn twice, hit this square twice. Okay, here he developed his bishop. I'm going to see what he does if I get my queen out. Queen to b6, I'm killing this pawn. And I'm also fighting for the center, right, with my pawn, my knight, and the queen. Now that I see the position, maybe we have this move. Bishop b4, I like bishop b4. And I also didn't notice before, but this pawn is actually hanging. So I'm just gonna take the pawn. If he takes here, I take back. It's actually not a problem. Okay. Yeah, this still looks very attractive. So I'm gonna go for this move. Bishop e4. Then I'm hitting the rook. I can also get some kind of outpost here with bishop f3. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get my bishop here. And now as we look, this pawn is also hanging. Okay, I'm gonna take the pawn with the rook. His pieces look tied down, right? If he moves the knight, he loses the rook. This bishop doesn't have many squares either. What is this bishop doing? So he's hitting my rook. Here we can try to play brave chess, what I would call something like brave chess. We can maybe go for this trade of rooks. We don't need to do that as we are up 2 pawns now. So I'm gonna go backwards. There is no need to risk it or to think too much about this move. Probably there is something better in this position, but this is fine and we want to be practical. Okay, he's going for something interesting actually. He's pushing c4, so we might have to calculate here a bunch of trades. So as I have commented before, we want to be practical. What happens if we trade queens? No, it actually helps white. He can now support this pawn twice. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go for that. What I also have in mind after this is to take this pawn. So I'm gonna go for this one. It's gonna have to take, he has double of the pawns. And now I can play this, taking the pawn. So my biggest concern was, once he takes this pawn, the queen was here supporting it. He doesn't have that move anymore, right? So I can actually take, let me see if I have something better. Yeah, we have to take this pawn. Now if he goes for this, this rook is hanging. Okay, now that was smart. He's moving the rook first. Let me think about how to punish this. The knight, if I move the knight, no, that's bad. Or do I want to move this knight here? Reroute it. I can also bring my rook into the open file. So I'm gonna bring my rook into the open file. I also haven't, as you have noticed, I haven't developed these pieces, so I'm concerned about that. But his pieces, even though all of them are developed, all of them are like in weird squares, so nothing looks normal. I don't know why. So I'm thinking about developing the knight as well, but I'm going to be aggressive today. I feel like we can do this. And now he has to move this rook, otherwise this comes with tempo, right? I have the discover check, hitting the king and hitting the rook. Okay, he made a mistake in evaluating whether he can take this pawn, because I can actually just take a free knight. And I don't even know if this is better or this is better. So this definitely wins the rook, but he can take after, right? I am opening up this line of attack. So actually I'm just gonna cleanly take this knight, and this is completely winning. Now he has to move this king. Alright. Let me see. We can rewrite this knight. I can also find other ways to protect it. This actually looks like a good move. So I'm gonna develop my bishop. At the same time, keeping an eye on this pawn, on this knight, not the pawn. Okay, he's probably he wants to land this knight on this square. Hitting. Okay, wait, why did he resign? Oh, he resigned because I can just take. So I didn't see that. I was trusting his move. Let's do a game review. I am surprised at my own accuracy. I have 91% of accuracy, so that was great. Let's see if we made any major... I don't think we made any major mistakes, otherwise we would have seen it. Let's go here. Everything is normal. The Atreides Queens was an idea from before, but I kind of missed it. And nothing is good here. Oh, okay, this was supposed to be the best move, but I think this one was also great. Oh, actually saying this is an inaccuracy. So best move is just to take the knight. And now this was also a good move, interestingly enough. But yeah, that hands this knight, right? So I don't see how that helps him. And now he can take. And I guess this knight is hanging after I take. Alright, so the game continues. But it was 91% of accuracy.